No, exactly. And then she said, William, come kick them out, as if we care. Like, I don't care to be at this event. Yeah, driver, can you just drive us all to the club? We just got kicked out of a exclusive GNA event. Like, we care. Like, we wanted to see this tacky clothing line. Hey, everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael, and I'm here to review Season 9, Episode 2 of The Real Housewives getting kicked out of a GNA event that nobody wanted to go to in the first place, of Potomac. So we start the episode off right where we left off with Karen and Jazelle judging Mia's parenting skills because they don't think that she's doing a good job handling this whole situation with her, Ink, Gordon, and the kids. It's just gonna be too much for the kids. Which, yes, it could be true, but at the same time, Karen, who are you to judge when you're over here racing against deers and crashing into trees? And Jazelle, look at your house. That already speaks for itself. So both of you have some nerve to be judging somebody else like this. Mia, she's in the bathroom, she's crying. She's just like,
oh my God, no, I can't do this right now. They have the nerve to call me a bad mom. You would not call me a bad mother. I'm a good parent. I'm not doing that.
So she's crying. Meanwhile, Giselle's just like, okay, we got to keep this attitude game going. So she gets the next hat, which is a bucket hat. No, I really don't want to do this right now. I don't want to play around with Wendy. No, I don't want to talk to her. I don't. Okay, fine, production. Fine. Okay, so, my next hat is a bucket hat, and it's because my friendship with Wendy. Hi, Wendy. Our friendship is in a bucket currently, so I would like to extend this olive branch and give you this hat, Wendy. What do you think? Maybe we should meet tomorrow, right? Jazelle is just gripping her fist, I don't want to do this. So fake, and Wendy's just looking at her So Jazelle, she walks around, she puts the bucket hat on her. If I was Wendy, I would have been like, give me that damn hat, don't touch me. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow for our one-on-one meeting. Please, so phony. Again, if Robin was still here, both of them would still be plotting on how to get Wendy off the show. Giselle, please. And Wendy, please. Mia eventually comes back out and Karen tells her, Mia, it was never my intention to make you cry like this. I'm just concerned about the kids. So Mia, she tells her,
I get that, Karen, but at the time it just felt like you were judging my parenting skills, and I don't appreciate that as a mother,
And like I said, Karen, she's full of it, but okay. So they get up, they take a group picture with the hats, and that was that for Karen's birthday. So we finally get the long-awaited one-on-one sit-down between Wendy and Jazelle, or at least I thought it was going to be a one-on-one because Jazelle showed up, Wendy showed up, but Wendy, she showed up with 2 extra guests, titty number 1 and titty number 2, so she had backup just in case. So Jazelle, she starts it off and she's like, look, my issue with you is that anytime anybody comes at you with anything, you always respond very condescendingly. And maybe it's just me, but I've never seen Wendy as condescending. I just don't see that in her. I feel like the real root of the issue with Jazelle towards Wendy is simply that she doesn't like that Wendy is smarter than her, if not the smartest on the cast. It's that simple. I feel like back then when she, was coming at Wendy in her marriage, she probably thought, okay, we're going to come at her, me and Robin. She's not going to do anything. She's just going to let us walk all over her because, we run the show. Once she realized that Wendy had a backbone and she's very quick with her words and she could chew up anybody on the cast simply with just words, including maybe Karen, Jazelle probably thought, oh, wait a minute. She's actually coming at us? She actually has the audacity to come at me and Robin? And she's actually making points? And I feel like Jazelle never recovered from that. I feel like she got her feelings hurt. She was embarrassed. And she held that grudge towards Wendy over all these years. And now here we are. After Wendy put Robin and Jazelle in their place, Jazelle would try to come at Wendy time and time again and will always fail. She would throw something at Wendy. Wendy would throw it 100 times harder, 100 times quicker. And Jazelle didn't like that. So what was Jazelle's next move? If I can't beat her with words, I'm going to try to ice her off the show. So Wendy, that was her issue with her. She was just like, look, Jazelle, my issue with you is that every time, you have an issue with somebody, you try to alienate, aka get them kicked off the show. Jazelle was just like, if I don't like you, I'm not going to talk to you. But, moving forward, if I do have an issue with you, Wendy, which hopefully I don't, because production, they actually called me yesterday and they talked to me that I have to be nicer to everybody on this cast now that Robin is not on the show. I'm going to talk to you one-on-one. And that was that. And I'm like, that's it. This has been a build-up, more so from Jazelle towards Wendy for seasons. And this is it, a 30-second conversation. And then we move on. But wait, there is more, because Wendy actually tweeted, oh no, this whole conversation that I had with Jazelle, it went on for about 2 hours. They just cut it down to like, what, 30 seconds? That she talked about how, Jazelle and Robin justified Mia attacking her in Miami, how she didn't let her use her bathroom at the reasonably delusional event at her house, if that's what you want to call it. Honestly, Wendy, if anything, she was doing you a favor, because who knows, if you would have went in her house, you probably would have got lost, and we probably would have never seen you again, because that house, it just looks like just one giant contraption. It probably didn't even have a toilet in it. So she did you a favor. How she did that, she talked about, she talked about a bunch of things, and it was just all basically cut out. So again, production, what are we doing here? Are we editing, certain episodes in favor of Jazelle because you didn't want to make her look bad? Like this, honestly, this whole conversation could have been a whole episode itself. Like, we could have had the Real Housewives of Wendy and Jazelle and Candace and had them talk out their issues for like a whole hour, but it was only a 30-second, thing, and that was it. Again, this was a huge build-up moment, and this is all we got. Like, production, once again, you have failed us. Like, and Jazelle, Jazelle was sitting down at the table just looking at Wendy like, yeah. No, next time I see you, Wendy, and we have an issue, I'm gonna come at you, okay? Knowing damn well if Robin Dixon, where is Robin? I kind of miss her. No, I don't. But if Robin was still on the show, you and her will be plotting on how to get Wendy off the show again for another season. So then we head over to Stacy's house, and she's there with her daughter Arabella and the au pair. We get a little bit more backstory of who Stacy is, and we find out that she's actually from Detroit. So you're from Detroit. Kenya Moore is from Detroit. You look like Kenya Moore. Yeah, I see exactly what's going on here. Stacy, I'm not stupid. And Bravo, you're not slick either. Stacy is secretly Kenya Moore in disguise. Like, you can't tell me otherwise. Everything just lines up way too perfectly. Like, Kenya, she just got fired from the Housewives of Atlanta not too long ago. And now all of a sudden we have a Kenya Moore lookalike just pop up on season 9 of Potomac. Like, yeah, no, Kenya, I see your tricks. I see what you're doing. Like, I know she's probably thinking, I'm going to be a housewife one way or another. So Kenya, she tells us that, she used to work for QVC. She was a reporter, I believe. She met her husband. They moved into this house. She also has a second property, apartment in D.C. And the second that she said that, I'm like, yeah, you're officially going to be on Gizelle's shit list for next season, because the second that Jazelle sees that or she knows about your second property, she doesn't like that. What did Monique say? I actually have 3 houses. And that friendship was down the toilet ever since. So yeah, Stacy, watch her back. Her daughter is trilingual. She speaks German, Spanish, and English. But Kenya and the dad agreed that they're not going to tell her about their divorce until everything is settled. But for now, they still live in the same house, just not in the same room. I'm like, Kenya, the girl is learning 3 different languages. Like, you mean to tell me that she's not going to pick up on the context clues like, something's going on with mommy and daddy. Why are they not sleeping in the same room? Or like the chemistry between both of you? Like, come on now. Like, I'm pretty sure that she's smarter than that, but okay. So then we head over to Karen's house, and we're reintroduced to the WWE Women's Champion, Kiarna. She shows up. She was a friend of last season. This season, she's a full-time housewife, which I like because I did like Kiarna last season, so I'm glad we get to see more. We get a little bit more backstory of who she is, and she's like, well, I just moved into my boyfriend's house, and I'm like, boyfriend? So you're not a housewife on the Real Housewives show? Okay, it's okay, we're moving on up. She's like, we moved into this house. We're going to be living in Baltimore for now until the house gets done. And I'm like, Baltimore? So not Potomac. Okay, I could work with this. And then in the confessional, she looks so beautiful in the confessional with the roses in her hair, the roses on her dress. She's like, he's my man, my man, my man. And I'm just so glad, that I don't have to pack up a whole bag anymore to spend the night with him. I'm like, not a whole bag. I'm pretty sure some of us, we still have ours. Here's mine right here, actually. Actually, you know what? Let me see what's inside. It's been a while. Let me see. I have some wet wipes just in case things get sticky. I have some hand sanitizer. You gotta stay clean. I have some lotion just in case my hands get a little dry. You never know. What else? Oh, some vapor rub. My nose might get congested or whatever. That's cute to know. What else? So anyway, so that's my bag. Let me put that away. They sit down. Karen tells her, I noticed that you weren't at my birthday party that Jazelle put together for me, but I heard that they're having a GNA event, and I'm going to talk to them to see if they could invite you to that. How does that sound, Kiarna? Kiana was just like, I'm not really sure if I should go to any more GNA events, especially after what happened last season. And I completely forgot about the WrestleMania moment that she had with Tickle Me Elmo. And what happened to Tickle Me Elmo? You know, she was on the show for like 2 seconds, got her ass beat, and now she's no longer a thing. Was it worth it? Does she still have RHOP in her Instagram bio? And is GNA still a thing? I thought that was a one and done thing last season. Like, that's still a thing. Now apparently it's called GNA Fusion. Fused with what? Shit and piss? You know, I already said last season that GNA stands for garbage and ass, and now we're still continuing this? People are really buying that? So Karen, she goes on to say, well, Kiarna, besides that, I also want to know if there's any soldiers around me. You know, I want a soldier like Destiny's Child. I want a soldier. I need real soldiers around me. I don't want to be around fake bitches. And I'm like, Karen, I'm like, okay, enough, Karen. Like, again, you just don't want people to question you about anything, but it's okay if you question me as parenting, right? But not question your drunk driving. And she kills me with this whole, oh, the truth is gonna come out. The truth is gonna come out. What truth? That you got drunk, you started driving recklessly, you hit a tree? Like, what is there more to it? Stacy heads over to Michael Darby's house where Ashley is staying at. They decide to go on a walk, and as they're walking, Stacy lets Ashley know, you know, I'm still going through a divorce with my husband, but we still live together. Here's Ashley. wait, what? Like, what? You two live together? What? And I'm like, Ashley, I know that that's not Ashley D. Darby judging anybody's relationship. Like, Ashley, you have some nerve after everything that we witnessed between you and that zombie Michael. Like, all of a sudden, you're shocked at this? Stacy asked her what's her nationality and how she's gonna raise her children. And Ashley's like, well, I'm half black, I'm half white. My dad was white, my mom is black. As for my children, you know, it's tough. I do try to teach them on reading books to them, but I never want the world to tell them what they are and what they're not. I'm assuming she means based on how they look because they look white. And then in the confessional, she's like, you know, I'm a biracial woman and I had the privilege of being around black women, black people when I was younger. My children, not so much. And her answer was very interesting, given that just 2 seasons ago at the reunion, when Candace brought up the conversation about colorism, Ashley was one of the many people on stage who had no clue or couldn't comprehend what Candace was trying to say. Stacy, she also agreed with her because she's raising a half black, half German daughter, and most of Stacy's family, who's black, is back in Detroit. So then she also tells Ashley, you know, Ashley, I'm gonna confide in you. And I'm like, no, Stacy, stop. Stacy, come over here. Stacy, don't do it. And you know, Ashley is just salivating like, yes, so give me my storyline for season 10. Go ahead, tell me, Stacy. Stacy's like, I'm in love. And I'm like, no, Stacy, don't do it. Like, and there goes Ashley Darby's fucking storyline. Because you know she's gonna dig up any single dirt that she has on TJ and throw it in your face next season, Stacy. Like, Stacy, you chose the wrong person to confide in. She's like, you know, I'm in love with him. His name is TJ. We met at QVC or CVS, whatever the place is called. You know, he was a reporter and the rest is history. But, here's a big but, you know, he wants to be celibate until we get married. He doesn't want to do anything intimate. And here goes Ashley's hoe ass. You know, she was just like, wait, what? Like, what? Like, no dick at all? And I'm like, Ashley? I mean, I was thinking the same thing. Like, not even a couple of strokes, a couple of licks, like nothing. And she's like, no, nothing until we get married. And honestly, I mean, I'm on the same path in all seriousness. I do want to be celibate because I realize that I just cannot be a hoe the same way that I used to be a hoe in my early 20s. In my early 20s, what did Monique the comedian say? Your turn, your turn, your turn, your turn, your turn, your turn, your turn. Now I cannot do that. I am way too emotional. If you even touch me the right way, I'm looking at you like, what are we? You know, and for me, it's very damaging emotionally and mentally if too many emotions are just combined like that. It's not good for me. So I guess I get it. But I mean, I'm not promising you all until marriage because, you know, every now and then, you know, I still like to be touched and held. So good luck, Stacy. Then we head over to Gizelle's haunted house that's shaped like a game of Jenga. Karen, she comes on over and she tells her, you know, I do find it shady that you named the only non-alcoholic drink at my event, the Grand Dame. Gizelle, she was just like, well, you should feel some type of way about Jacqueline. She actually was gonna ask you about some conversation that she had with you and you sounded drunk supposedly. Karen, she was just like, well, you know what? Jacqueline is on timeout currently. she's not a real soldier. She's a fake ass bitch. So I'm not really gonna speak to her right now. And I'm like, okay, Karen. So then Jazelle, she goes on to say that she's throwing this event, this GNA event. She's had it planned out for a while with her and Ashley. The whole thing is gonna be like a charity event, you know, for the cause of her father, which is nice. But at the same time, Jazelle, to attach that to GNA is just like, you could have just thrown a charity event just because, not because of GNA, but okay. And coincidentally, Karen is also being honored this award at this women's empowerment event, which I'm shocked that they still went through with it, because the second that the DUI news broke out, I would have retracted the award like, yeah, no thank you, Karen, thank you for coming, but, you know, go away. So Jazelle asked her, okay, both of our events are the same day, but what time is yours at? You know, I don't know. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. Like, Karen, you're so full of it, because then 2 seconds later, we see 6 o'clock in the morning, the day of the event. You know, Karen, she texts everybody on the cast like, oh, hey, everybody, you know, we obviously have 2 events at the same time, the same day. You mean to tell me, Karen, that you really didn't know what time your event was? You just wanted to catch everybody, specifically Jazelle, off guard because of the whole Grand Dame drink that she pulled on you last week, so now you want to get even. Jazelle, she's upset, rightfully so, and she's like, I just can't believe this. My event was already scheduled for months, and, you know, putting the whole GNA thing to the side, you know, way to the side, like over there to the side, you know, the whole event, the bigger picture is for her father. So, you know, it was kind of like, ugh, Karen, what are you doing? Everybody else, you know, we see Mia, Wendy, they're all giving their opinions like, well, you know, we were going to Jazelle's event, but now we have this. And, you know, obviously, what's her name? Karen is more liked than Jazelle. So obviously, who are they going to go to first? And Jazelle, she kills me because she was just like, I just don't get it. My event is honoring my father. What is she being honored for? For crashing into a tree? So we finally get to Jazelle and Ashley's GNA event that they're having in this basement of this sketchy warehouse made of bricks. We see Kiarna, Wendy, Stacy, Mia, and Jazzy. They're all getting together on the Sprinter bus. They're heading to Karen's event first. And you know, it was something about seeing all of them together on the bus. You know, it just felt so fresh and new. Like, it just felt like I was watching a whole different show. And honestly, I haven't felt the missing presence of Candace or Robin on the show at all. Like, it's actually very refreshing. So they're heading to Karen's event first. They call Ashley, like, Ashley, you know, we'll be there around maybe 8-ish. You know, we'll get there at the latest. And Ashley's like, okay, make sure you get here at least at 8 because the event ends at 9. That sounded like a threat, but okay. So they get to Karen's event first. And, you know, it was just so hilarious seeing them, you know, running around from event to event. Kiarna and Wendy, they don't give a fuck about the GNA event. They're like, look, we're here for Karen. We don't really like Jazelle like that, so it is what it is. So they get to Karen's event. They see Karen, Mia, everybody. They get out there like, oh my God, Karen,
How are you? Oh my God, I'm so happy for your award. Let's take selfies and take pictures. Okay, we got to go to the GNA event. Back on the bus we go.
Like, it was like in and out. But Kiarna and Wendy, they're like, well, we haven't seen her get the award yet, so we're just gonna stay. So I believe everybody else, they all head out to the GNA event. Ashley, she tells Jazelle, look, they might be a little late, but Jazelle is just like, look, if they get here past 8, just tell them not to come. Which I could see why Jazelle would be upset. I could see why, you know, I'm already feeling some type of way that, you know, you're all choosing to go to Karen's event first. Here goes Karen in the confessional. Well, you know, it's not my fault that I'm more likable than Jazelle. That's their free will. Well, like, I understand that, Karen, but it's just like, it's still wrong in a way. So I could see why Jazelle is upset. Do I care, though? So then Jacqueline, she shows up and I'm like, oh, I'm surprised you're not on the bus with the rest of the, you know, the rest of the cool girls. But okay, she's there. Her makeup looks so good. Vivian's there too. I really like Vivian. So they're there. Giselle's taking pictures. Everybody else, they're still on the bus. They're telling the driver, what time are we going to get there? Like, what's happening? And he's just like, we should be there at 8 o'clock. They pull up into the parking lot at like 7:48. They finally open up the doors. It's like 8:02. 2 minutes past the time that they told Ashley that they were going to be there. Jazelle, she's taking pictures. She's doing all of that. She spots them, you know, coming into the building or the sketchy warehouse basement. And she's like, oh, no, absolutely not. No. Ladies, no. William. And then she gets the security guard. Is this the same security guard from season 5? You know, the one that she hired because she was scared of Monique. Is that the same security guard? Because all of a sudden she's like, William, come over here. William the third, come over here. Yeah, you know, it's these ladies. Get them out, please. And it's left out of to be continued. She was pissed. And it is so interesting to see, Gizelle take on the whole entire cast without Robin, even though Ashley Darby is kind of like a Robin Jr. But, still, it's very interesting to see this side of Gizelle. Now, is Gizelle wrong? I mean, I feel like she wasn't wrong for feeling some type of way, but for kicking them out, I mean, they came 2 minutes past your event, and it's supposed to be a charity for your father. So then again, I could see why she would feel disrespected, especially if, there's an emotional bond to the event, her father. I can see it, but at the same time, Gizelle, they're already there. They were trying to, run all over the place for you. So, I mean, I guess. Now, if I was the cast and Gizelle was just like, no, you're not allowed in here, the security's escorting you out, I would have told Gizelle, like, you know what, you're doing me a favor. Like, bye, Gizelle, bye, Ashley, bye, William. Girls, let's get back on the bus. Let's go to the club. Like, you're doing me a favor. I didn't even want to come to this dusty basement for your event. Like, goodbye, I'm going to go and we're going to have a good time in D.C. We're not going to stay here, but... and to get the security guard, like, just so extra, but again, so on brand for Gizelle, and it's left out of to be continued, but we shall see. Again, is Gizelle wrong? No, yes, no, yes. Karen, it was kind of like a shady move to do that, but I mean, I guess. We shall see how this whole thing plays out. Whose event would you go to? Ashley and Gizelle's or Karen's? I personally would just stay home. Let me know what you thought about this whole entire episode down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.